because now we've been through the rules. Now we're going to work on one that came in that was about rules. It says, my husband's very strict. He's quick to punish the kids and watches over all that they do. At times, I believe he's too rigid. I think the kids, there's two of them, one's 8 and one's 10.
Okay.
I think the kids are more fearful of him than they should be. He's quick to punish. Once, when our son got a D in school, he grounded him for 6 weeks. He could not even go to baseball practice.
Wow.
Can you give me some ideas about being a parent and having rules that are more appropriate? And what are your thoughts on punishment, appropriate punishment?
What was the first part of the question? Give me what?
Give me some ideas about rules and implementing them as a parent.
Okay. And then about punishment, rules and implementing them as a parent.
You know, the idea that rules are the structure that regulate a family, and the idea that when you establish rules, they have to be appropriate, for the children, their age, their ability to understand, and they have to work to function in increasing the quality of the relationship and the quality of the home life. Right?
Yep.
Some rules are easy. Kids, children shouldn't play with knives. Right? You would agree with that, right? And they shouldn't give them matches to go light candles when they're 4 years old.
Right.
So there's a lot of easy rules, Maybe it's not a good idea for, kids to be involved in high risk situations. And so there's some healthy rules there.
But rules do help by giving children responsibility in the family. It teaches them how to be a part of it.
Sure.
And how to fit in. And it's also, rules are also a way to set limits.
I like what you're saying. Rules develop a hierarchy. We know who's in charge. Whoever sets the rules up.
Apparently, it's Dad in this family.
They define responsibility. Rules set limits.
Yeah.
And they have a range because as children get older, you tend to integrate them more into creating those ideas of rules. So the idea that rules change with family as they mature.
As the family matures, right.
Because they're able to do this on their own. And so, my ideas on this is, of course, that the rules should be involved as a family creation. You and your partner, you and your husband both should be establishing with this. And with some degree, you should be looking at, what are the abilities of the children to understand these rules and to be a part of this. And as we get a little bit, older, we should be able to ease up on some of these.
But some of this is a responsibility of a parent too. I mean, we were surprised by a D. How were we surprised by a D? Because in my mind, that means as a parent, I'm not staying connected and spending time with the child, checking the homework, making sure they understand, checking with the school and the teacher, checking my email maybe. My kid's school emails me. So, lots of times I'm not taking my responsibility as a parent when I see a child doing that thing like that. And now we're going to move on to this second part, which is about
punishment. And I find that consequences is the word that we should be using, and we should be kind of shying away from that word punishment.
Right.
The consequences of making a D are this, and those consequences should be, to such a way encouraging the child to do better.
Right.
If your son, this boy didn't tell me which one was 8 or 10, as the child was disengaged from baseball, if the baseball is working as a motivator, then it might have been better to say something like, I tell you what, you don't play baseball until you get your homework finished, and I've seen it.
Right.
Okay. And because that's a motivator.
Right. And you can also get the coach involved. I had one parent give me that as an example. If a coach realizes a kid isn't doing well, they can impact them also to say, you have to keep the grades up to participate.
But some consequences might be some additional work. You can say, look, this D that you had, as a result of that, we're going to give you some additional chores to do around the house, and we can actually measure those chores.
Right.
You can also find ways that you can ask the child, and I've done this with my son when he was 11. I said, this is not good,
right.
and there is a price to pay. Certain privileges that I'm going to tell you have to be given up. You can no longer play Xbox without permission.
And we also limited television. I mean, there are things you can do at home without taking away what may be a motivator to participate and be part of a team.
And it sounds kind of crazy, but you can explain to your child that, wait a second, just as I go to work, your job is school. And so if you're not doing that job very well, then I'm going to ask you, what additional duties would you like to do to make up for this, inadequate behavior? And it's really fun. Another thing, if you will, and I know it's a little bit off track from this, but, I sincerely believe that by turning off the TV and the Xbox and all these PlayStation type things and say, look, you earn these privileges. They're not on a regular basis. And as you finish these tasks, you earn.
Right.
So
that's a positive consequence.
Positive.
When you do your job, here's what you've earned. Okay. And when you don't do your job, here's what the limitation on that's going to be.